I know a lot of my viewers are going into college relatively soon, and so I wanted to make a video sharing some experiences of mine with you because ultimately we all go through weird experiences when we go to college. Before we get into that, yes, I am wearing glasses. I woke up this morning and I just had a zit appear right in the middle of my face. I'm gonna start this story at the very beginning. I was a freshman going into college and I was gonna dorm at my college. A couple weeks before the school year started, I got a notification and it said, hey, you're gonna be matched with this person. We're just gonna call this person Greg. Now, of course, what I did was I looked on Facebook, tried to find some information on the guy, see if he was like a normal person or if he had anything weird I should look out for, maybe even message him myself. And I was able to find his profile and he actually seemed pretty normal. Time goes by and school starts. I move into my dorm, I meet the kid, and we seem to get along pretty well. I find out within the first week that he is a big gamer. He played a game called Dota. Now, I never played Dota, but he was like huge into it. He would literally play it all night. Every day he would be up late playing Dota. He would make cup ramen noodles. Every day he'd make cup ramen and it would smell 1 in the morning, right on task. He makes those ramen noodles. But he didn't just do it one night a week or twice a week or 3 times a week. No, he did it every single day. I could just set an alarm 1 in the morning and boom, he would go ahead and just cook up those cup noodles. Now, that's not even the worst part, okay? It gets a lot worse. So over the first couple weeks of school, I try to get to know my neighbors in my dorm because those are the most important weeks of the whole entire year. If you don't get to know your neighbors within the first 2 to 3 weeks of school, then you probably will not make that many friends. I'm just being honest, that's how it's gonna go. People usually form their groups within that time, and so I was trying to, touch base with everybody, make some connections, but Greg was not doing that. Instead, what he was doing was playing Dota, which, hey, I think is fine. If you want to play games all the time, that's cool, but it was a little awkward because my dorm mates would ask us to, play games and go and play pool or ping pong or something, and I would, want to bring Greg, but he just wouldn't go with me. He was not very social, which I'm right there with him, but I think I understood that it was important to get to know people during those weeks, and that's why I stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit, and that's why I don't think he did. So time goes on, and I realized that Greg is somebody that enjoys leisurely smoking. He enjoys going out with the boys and toking on the devil's lettuce. And I realized rather quickly that doing that led to him doing some other drugs. I was once in my college dorm room while Greg and his buddies were in my room doing shrooms right behind me. I Skyped my mom, okay? I didn't know who to call. This was happening all in a moment. I'm like, okay, who am I gonna call? I need to tell someone about this. My mom. I Skype my mom, and I'm Skyping her, and I put the Skype, screen in the background. I pretend to just be on Google, but, my camera's open, and everything that they're saying is being Skyped, and my mom can see it and hear it, and I'm like, I'm not crazy, right? This is weird what they're saying right now, right? And my mom's like, yes, Chris. Yes, that is weird. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anybody on shrooms, like a lot of them, but it's another level. And there were like 4 guys in my small dorm room, all doing shrooms, drinking, and toking on the devil's lettuce. And in my mind, I am like going crazy because if an RA, a residential advisor, came into my dorm room with these guys there, I would be kicked out of school because I would be in the same room as them. I would be guilty by association. And so my mind was going crazy. I just couldn't stand it anymore. I had to get out. I left the room. I go to the library, I don't know, do some homework or something because I was like a straight A student. I was always doing my homework, and I come back later in the day and Greg is not there. Greg is nowhere to be found. I don't know where he was. Yeah, he just wasn't there. All his stuff was like packed up. He never really unpacked his things. All his things were like in this one little drawer and he had like nothing. He like literally had no decorations. He put up nothing on the walls, just blank everywhere. So the night goes on and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna go to bed. It's about midnight or so. I need some rest. My school starts at 8 a.m. I have classes next morning at 8. So I go to bed, and an hour or two after I pass out, I hear Greg and a horde of other guys knocking on my door. They are all completely hammered. They are slurring their words, crazily knocking on my door. At this point, I wake up because I feel like my dorm is getting raided. Like the police are raiding my dorm. They caught me. You know, they knew that Greg had shrooms. I'm in trouble right now. So what happens? Thankfully, that wasn't the case. And instead, the door goes flying open and in walks a heavily intoxicated, very bad smelling Greg. He is stumbling around, slurring every word. He is saying things that don't make any sense. Now at this point, I'm just in my bed pretending to be asleep. I don't want him to know that I'm awake. I want him to think that I'm a really heavy sleeper. Thankfully, after an hour or so, he goes into his bed and just completely passes out. Now he smelled like way worse than he normally did, okay? He normally didn't shower that often, so he was smelling bad anyway, but he was like really bad that night. So the next morning, I wake up, Greg is sleeping in his bed and he's gone. He's totally gone. And I decide that I don't want to be around the kid. I'm gonna go to the gym, just try to hopefully go to the gym and come back. Hopefully he's gone by the time I come back. And I get up and I go to the door. There is something that I never expected to see ever in my life on the door. There's a newspaper with a bunch of blood on it. It was pinned to the door and there was blood dripping down the newspaper. I just ran out and just booked it to the gym. I couldn't believe my eyes. Looking back, I think what happened was Greg was getting initiated into some type of frat and they made him do something with blood. I honestly to this day don't know because I never asked him about it. I pretended to know nothing about it, okay? And I went away the whole day basically. I told my friends, I called my mom, I'm like, there was this newspaper with blood pinned to the door, like I don't get this. Anyways, the next few days go by and I realized this dude is not taking the newspaper off the door. He's not doing it. It's up there all bloody. The blood is getting dry. It's gross. He's not doing a thing. So about a week goes by and I decide I'm gonna take this thing down. I take down that newspaper. I throw it away, run to the restroom, bam, down the toilet. And later that day, Greg comes back, he opens the door, turns around, and he doesn't see the newspaper. He looks at it, and he looks at me, and he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he sits down and plays some more Dota. It was at that moment when I realized that he realized that I was not asleep that day, and that I knew something was up with him because I took the paper down, and he knew that. Throughout our whole time dorming together, which was only for half of a semester, we never talked at all. I stayed on my side of the room, he stayed on his side of the room, and we just nothing. Because this incident, it happened within the first 2 months of us rooming together, and after this, I wanted nothing to do with the kid. Thankfully, I was able to change roommates after the first half of the semester, and I got with somebody that I liked, someone that I knew from my hometown. From this experience, I learned that when you live with somebody, you get to see all their colors. It's kind of like when you get married to someone and you live in the same house and you see their good sides, you see their bad sides, you see them playing 10 hours of Dota, but you also see them getting decent grades, and you're like, wait, how are you on computer 12 hours a day and still getting A's? Greg was one of those kids that could do that. He was very good at test taking, and it was the first year of school, so the classes weren't even that hard. I found out later in the year that he did get caught for doing drugs and drinking in the dorm rooms, and he had to go to a class because of it. Anyways, that is my college dorm story. The first year, I was a brand new freshman. I was like so nervous about things, and I heard so many stories of people getting good roommates and bad roommates, and I'm like, oh, I just hope I have a good roommate. But without that experience, I would not have this video here today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave it a like down below. Subscribe if you're new. I make videos every single week. And if you want to hear more school stories or college stories or, you know, interesting things that have happened like this, let me know. I have a bunch of them that I haven't really shared with people. I'd be more than happy to share them with you guys, because now the time has passed, I've been able to think about them, and I've realized that I can laugh at those situations and they're never gonna affect me ever again. We were all weird college kids at some point and did weird things. And if this can help somebody that's going into college relatively soon, then that's awesome. But that's all I have. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.